And I'm about to post that link so they know where to go. Let me see. So we're live. You can talk, Tim. You can
Talk as in chat up the chat room a little bit, or talk as in let's start this thing.
start this thing.
All right.
Oh,
Welcome to Pod Nuts. This is the Geeksters, episode 138. Kind of tripping over myself here because I don't usually do this. My name's Tim Bauermeister. I am hosting tonight. We're Martinless, unfortunately. Um, he's been abducted by broken things somewhere, so it's just myself and Mitch tonight. So co-hosting here is Mitch. How you doing, buddy?
I'm pulling my hair out.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I think I don't know. No.
Well, you know what? Don't take the hat off, and you only pull out. You only pull out a little bit visible. You get like the farmer's haircut where you just go in and say, just cut around the hat. What's going on your end, buddy? What's
Well,
happening?
I'm not used to doing a live hangout, which I'm doing right now. Just figured.
Oh, does Martin usually do that?
Oh yeah, he always. And I'm just.
Yeah. He's the man behind the curtain so much that I don't know exactly what all he's doing over there. So
Yeah, it's changed since the last time I did it, and I'm trying to paste the link, so I don't even have the chat room up, so people they know where to go. Let me see. And I can't find it. I got it without going to a bunch of different pages. Hold on for a minute there. Anyway, go on.
yeah, no, Martin was called out. Anybody who's been a fan of the show and been following us for a while has probably noticed that Martin has become busier and busier and busier, and it should be no surprise to anyone. I mean, anybody listening to anything this guy has ever said, Martin is amazing. So it's been a blessing to me to have him on the show. He's not going anywhere, but he's starting to get spread a little thin with everything, and so just with. I think, Mitch, I think it'd be different if maybe he was on the East Coast with us. It seems that we try and run this thing. Of course, we're pushing 7 o'clock here, East Coast. But Jimmy Christmas, it's 4 o'clock where he is. So it's 4 o'clock. 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's hard to drop everything and do this thing. So we've definitely been walking a tightrope here. So we have a balancing act, trying to get the show on at a time when everybody can watch and listen and participate live at the same time you and me do it, and Martin. And so it's definitely a time zone thing, but Martin has been very, very busy. And I know it's been a frustration to him on one end because he really enjoys doing the show, but what are you going to do? You're busy, and so God bless you, Martin. Good for you. I mean, he's being victimized by his own success, huh? So anyway, Martin can't be here tonight, and but he's here with us in spirit, and that's all. So, I wanted to ask you, Mitch,
Mm-hmm.
how many hours did you stand in line out in the cold to buy a Xbox there, like Friday night?
Let me
Did
see.
you-
I went out at like after 7:30 a.m. Thursday morning. I didn't do anything. Didn't do.
no. You didn't do the Black Friday thing.
Nah.
You know what? A lot of people did. And I never do. But I follow the Black Friday thing as a puff piece news story. I'm always interested to see what comes of it. I don't think anybody was trampled this year. I don't know. Maybe I missed that, but I never do the Black Friday thing. So I guess that it was not quite as successful this year. It wasn't quite as profitable, I suppose, for the retailers. Sales income down is down 11%. I saw. So that's. I mean, I'm not crying my eyes out. I think the whole thing is a little bit silly. I think it's something of a testament to our excess in this country. But I want the retailers to finish out strong. The whole Black Friday thing, though, I'll admit it escapes me the allure.
Well, people on a, don't have much money coming in. They want to get a deal, I guess. I mean, yeah, there are some pretty good deals out there, and except my thinking, which is not very rational, I'm seeing stuff like, wow, that's a good deal. I should go and get it, but I don't need it. You know what I mean? Um,
Okay, okay.
yeah, there's some TVs out there. There's some, but I just got one like 3 months ago, and if I would have waited, probably got a little bigger one. But I don't, it's no big deal.
Let me back up for a minute. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was just my wife and I,
Oh, wow.
just her and I. She bought a turkey breast and she put it in a crock pot, and it's
Ooh,
good, really good.
nice.
Needless to say, my 47 pounds that I lost, it's not 47 now.
Ah, you still look good from here, so.
Yeah, I bet you I gained 10 pounds.
The holidays are hard, man. I mean, it's tough. Even at the holidays, you're inside. Of course, in our region, you're inside. You're a little bit more sedentary than you would be, and you're not out there pushing the lawnmower, raking the leaves, or whatever. God forbid you have to go shovel snow. So you tend to put on a couple pounds. I know I do. You're wearing a couple extra layers, so you don't even. I know I don't even notice a couple extra pounds till it's too late. So, but man, here comes the holidays. That just steamrolls you.
Hmm.
Just having cookies and candy, all kind of stuff jammed in your face. Oh, for the next month or two. So I'm glad to see the Halloween candy starting to peter out. I mean, all the Halloween candy left in the house is like it's funny. It's like the guinea pigs. How they'll just eat around, and everything that's left is like the stuff they don't like, and that's kind of like the way our Halloween candy is now. It's just all the little bits down there that have been picked over. So Thanksgiving was good. Always good to get Thanksgiving to do the Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Christmas is on. So, um, in the Black Friday. But I was being out of town. I was really kind of plugged into it because I don't go do it, but I was in a different environment. It was visiting relatives. They live near a large city. Big box stores and that, and so I did kind of creep out a little bit and watch the people, and I was just amazed at um, people that I mean they just clearly this was their gig. Like they wait all year for this.
Hmm.
I went to a gas station at 4 in the morning, and man, there were like women. There were these women that I bet they haven't been awake since midnight in years. There they are. They're going through the list and discussing how well they did at certain stores and where else they were going to go. And I thought, wow, that's like, yeah, good for them. It's an activity and gets them out and does whatever. So, but not a Black Friday guy here. Chat room. How about you? Anybody do the Black Friday thing? Um, yeah, not my gig.
I went out. I did go out to Walmart Friday morning. Not no special time. Just I didn't even get anything. Just looked at. Well, I did get some. Just to look around and they had some deals. You know what was a good deal? I thought, and they still got it, I believe. They were selling these Windows tablets uh,
Okay.
with 8.1 on them for $100, 16 gigs. It was a quad core.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was really. I don't need it. I forgot what the brand, what it was called, but just to play around with it, it'd be worth $100. But
Huh.
I didn't have it. I didn't get it. Then they had some Blu-ray players. They had a Sony Blu-ray Smart Player for I think it was $45. And I didn't need that either. Or have one, but and there were some good deals, and there's still some good deals too. So
That's interesting. Yeah, you know what? Of course I would have missed. Oh, I'm intrigued by the that tablet. I, since I have no plans on going out, I didn't even bother to look through all the ads and stuff. So, and there's nothing I excuse me, there's nothing I need, and literally nothing I really even want. So I didn't bother with all of it.
hmm
Speaking of excuse me, speaking of shopping and that, I wanted to ask you too. I had a topic that I really want to discuss, and I literally can't. I mean, after reading through it 3 times, I feel as lost as I did before. But uh, Verizon, among others, is now offering an alternative to, before you could buy your phone outright.
Hmm.
and uh, and then just pay the monthly thing is without any contract, or you get the phone, it's subsidized, but with but you were tied to them for 2 years, so and it was a subsidized situation, but they had this it's called Verizon Edge. This is what theirs is, and I suppose I think the others, AT&T, and I think T-Mobile, they have their own, and I don't want to. I don't understand Verizon's well enough to even like compare and contrast them to the others. So folks, I really don't want to turn this into, well, that one sucks and this one's great, because I'm not saying any of that at all. But I'll tell you what, I tried I tried to understand this Verizon Edge thing, and I read through it 3 times. Literally, my mind is swimming trying to take it all in. Are you familiar with this, Mitch? Have you seen this?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, what it is, it's yeah. After just carrying on about how I can't understand it, I'm going to actually try and describe it, um, or explain it. Uh, Basically, it's oh my gosh.
Maybe I'm
Uh, ba- ba- it made my head explode. Uh, it's look at this. Uh, I'm not even gonna try. It's just it,
Are you talking about all the different plans they have? And
well, it's not all the different plans. Basically, it's like a third option for the hardware, and so what what they're doing is that instead of it's it's more akin to buying the phone outright than it is the subsidized plan. But instead of paying all of it up front, you're actually it's broken down into monthly installments. Okay, so um, you what it is that they have I think that over the next 20 months or something, it's broken down, and so instead of paying like $650 for the phone up front, that's broken down into the
right.
next 20 months, and the the gig is that the big sell is it supposedly allows you to upgrade sooner. So I guess if you really were a bleeding edge kind of person, and you needed that new hardware like as soon as it becomes available, you don't want to be tied into that 2-year contract, and early termination fees and the whole deal. Um, what the thing is the first time I heard this, and the more I thought about it, the more I read about it, it, it really kind of felt like a wolf in sheep's clothing type of thing, where this is what they say it does, but the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't know if I'm really digging this. I, I would say that, I mean, it kind of makes me think about the difference between like buying a car and leasing a car. Now, I mean, there are plenty of times where leasing a car is like the right option for certain people, but generally across the board, it's not the best option for the majority of people. That's not a very good comparison, because I would say that it is a good option more often than this here. I think that I just think that this I think it's going to burn more people than actually help. And the thing is that like I said, after I've read through it 3 times, I don't still quite understand it, much less be able to make an opinion. Is this good for me? And and I'll tell you what, real quick, what I was getting at is that what bothers me is that I was in a store where the person working there, the employee, was explaining it to a customer, and I felt like she didn't understand it either. But she was able to burn through it real quickly, and the guy just kind of like, well, okay, whatever you say. And so I kind of just want to throw this out. Really, it's just as a Geeksters PSA. If you don't understand, maybe this thing's a good option for you, but don't get into it unless you really understand it, because and maybe it's just me being dense, but just be aware that there are newer options available that may be worth looking into, but just understand it before you get into it, because um, there are like some little tricks about them and caveats and little things that'll trip you up through it. A lot of fine print, a lot of details. So
Yeah, I think they're all doing the same thing. I think Verizon's is called the Edge.
yeah,
Yeah. So it basically is you're not getting the phone subsidized, and so you're paying outright for it, but they give you a chance to upgrade in whatever it is, a year and a half or something like that.
yeah.
Or no, actually, I think it's 6 months. If you get
It's
6 months,
it's 6 months, and but you turn the hardware in. It's not yours. You turn it in, and it has to be in good condition. So who knows what that means?
exactly.
I believe me, nothing that I own after 3 months is in good condition by a lot of people's standards. Because when I use things, I use them. They're just things. So anyway,
Yeah. Have you
anyway.
done any computer repair?
You know what? I've done very little. I've had a handful of things on the bench. I had a dead Toshiba come in. Um, pulled the hard drive. The hard drive is good, so the data is recoverable. But it's a it. I haven't torn it down yet. I'm thinking it's a DV7 type of issue where you power it on, you do get lights, you hear the hard drive spinning, but there are no blinking lights as far as any kind of activity. You don't. The hard drive, I can hear that it's not. There's no clicking as if it's being read. No. There's no visual on the screen. And of course, the first thing I had the customer try was try an external display, and there was nothing there either. Same thing. I had a desktop here that's it's dead, and I've pretty much got it down the motherboard or processor. So when you get it down to that point, it's like, well, you're looking at a new desktop, and the customer pretty much figured as much. But I looked at it just kind of as a
One of those video problems on that one on the HP. The old boy.
yeah. On that Toshiba, I'm thinking that because one of the questions I asked was, did you ever notice the fan running a lot? Did it seem like it ran hot? And the customer said, yeah, it seems like it was always running and it was really hot. So I don't know if
Mm.
I'm not aware of. I haven't searched it up, so I don't know if this Toshiba is prone to this, but it certainly behaves exactly like that. So
Yeah, I had one a while back. It was getting some weird lights on it, but nothing was coming up on it. I'm not sure if you could hear the fan on there. And
mhm.
so it was suggested to me, and I think I was gonna do it anyway, but because I don't like working on laptops. But anyway, I pulled the RAM out, and well, it had two sticks. I pulled one at a time, and it was the one stick of RAM was bad, so it worked fine after that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy fix. Um, yeah, it's getting in the holidays, and I yeah, as a working with a lot of residential customers, and um, unless and something I did not do this year. I wasn't forward thinking enough, but I didn't really push, um, the holiday kind of new computers setups type of thing. That's something I usually do this time of year. I try and get the word out. Hey, this is it's that time of year. Of course, it's not. It's the computers, it's the tablets, it's the phones, on and on and on. That I don't spend time selling the hardware, building the hardware, anything like that. But it's setting up the hardware and data migrations and all that sort of thing. I usually get quite a bit of calls, this time of year and coming up for that sort of thing. I didn't really, I wasn't proactive enough in doing that. And so what else is coming in this time of year? It's the stuff that's dead. So anything that can wait usually does until the holidays are over. And people have a little bit more time and discretionary income. This time of year, people are busy, and so I like this time of year because although it slows up a wee little bit, you see a lot of really interesting things where it's like it's really really dead, and there's usually a story there. There's something interesting. So that's kind of what I've been looking at. I mean, the rest of the stuff on the bench is it's I don't know. Nothing really interesting over there.
I
What about yourself there, buddy?
had another laptop over the weekend. It went well actually. Um, so it's my old boss I used to work with, and he's an elderly gentleman, and it's a it's an AMD compact HP, so you know it's pretty old, but it does have Windows 7 on it, only 2 gigs of RAM. Anyway, he said he wasn't getting anything on it, so I took it home, and I'm not getting anything. I'm getting a little light by where you plug the power adapter in, but nothing else. And I put it on a voltmeter. It was getting 19 plus volts, whatever. So I'm thinking it's okay. But I'm playing around with it more. I said, all right, let me pull the RAM out and play with it. Then I pulled the hard drive out and put it back in. And I got it to boot up one time.
Hmm.
Uh, One time, and that's weird. And it's just not doing nothing. I'm going to take a shot at it and saying I'm going to get a Walmart and get a power adapter. And so they had the what's it IO one, or I forgot the brand name, one with a bunch of tips. Then they have one. They had
Yeah.
one that it said would specifically work with this one. So I said I don't want to take any chances. I got the one the HP said it will work with this, even though it was $70. And sure enough, that's what it was. Um, I put it on there, and
Nice.
that's how it works. That was easy fix. I mean, he had some quite a few infections going on. Got it cleaned up. Um, and I told him, I said, look, you probably get one for like a third this price online, or do you just, you want to pay me for it? And yeah, he said I'll keep it. But he's telling me that they have another HP. He might have mixed them up, the power down.
Hmm.
So because this was at 65 watts. I don't know what the original one was. The one I bought was 90 watts. I don't know if it's had anything to do with it or not.
Hmm.
He
Yeah.
put it
Hmm.
up.
Interesting. You know, you'd think that would make a difference. I'll tell you what, let me think for a minute. See the Dells. I mean, for years and years, they came with the 65 watt. There's a 65 watt charger if you had the smaller battery, the 6 cell. If I'm getting this right in my head, and the 90 watt charger if you had the 9 cell battery. And you know what? My laptop shipped, that was years ago, but it shipped with the 9 cell battery, but the 65 watt charger. And I didn't think anything of it at the time because I didn't know any better. And then I went to replace the battery after it failed. Yeah, typical Dell, like days after the warranty had run out on the battery. But I replaced it. I said, well, this charger's too small, but it was never an issue. But I ended up ordering a proper charger for it too. But I was always, and I'll tell you what, that little 65 watt charger. I mean, I always got the job done, but when I got the proper 90 watt charger, I, I was I was far happier with the recharge time and the amount of heat that the charger made. So I didn't quite understand that why they shipped with that smaller one, but I guess
Money.
that's something they did.
Here's the weird thing, because once I got it up and running right, the battery was showing it was 100%, or right close to it, but it wouldn't run without the battery. I think me taking everything out of it, and
Hmm,
I did the residual power thing, where
sure.
I pressed the power button on, so I think that was an issue too, because it wouldn't work with the battery in it, with just the battery in it before it was charged up. So I think that might have been an issue too. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you get even the computers, they won't do nothing. You unplug everything, hit the power button for like 20 seconds, 15 seconds.
Yeah, to drain the caps and all.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think that was an issue with it too.
That you know what that's one of those things. Yeah, that's very much like. Uh, it always seems drastic or silly, but how many times have you said to a customer, you know, whatever problem you're having, it's like, when's the last time you rebooted? Let's try a reboot, and it's always, you know, it always seems like a silly request, and then it's always, but it's it's surprising, but it's not surprising how often that clears up a number of issues. And what you describe, very, very same thing with the laptops, is that it's acting up, it's doing this, it won't do that. And I'll say, you know what, just shut it down, it's pull the battery, and hold that power button down. And it's funny because that's actually like step one of troubleshooting, and so many, you call tier one. So, man, that's the first thing they have you do.
I
Pull the
know,
back,
you know,
shut it down.
I went to A+ class years ago. They never told us that. I found that out. I think my brother told me about it, but it was on, it's on a number of different sites. I would imagine. I know it was on the Dell site because
Yeah.
computers.
Yeah, I mean it's first thing they have you do. Shut it down, pull the battery, take the charger loose, hold that power button down for 20 seconds, drain the caps, fire it back up, and I don't know how many times I've had a customer say, "Wow, it's like brand new," or the problem went away. I'll say, "Well,
Yeah, I was thinking.
send it a bill."
When I brought the computer back into at work, I said, before I give it to you, let me try the old power supply, just make sure. And sure enough, it wasn't. It was shown there was. I mean, it was on and everything, but it was shown there was no power supply in there. I mean, no adapter, because it's saying it was on battery.
Okay, gotcha.
So it proved that something was wrong with that jack.
Yeah, those things are so hard to test. Those chargers, because first of all, there's several components there.
Mm-hmm.
First, plugged in the wall. Well, do you have good power at the wall? Well, then you got the section that connects line voltage of the wall to the transformers, which actually steps the voltage down and converts it from AC to DC. Well, where that's where that connects, usually that comes that will plugs in there and comes loose, that cable from the wall. Well, is that a good connection? The transformer itself, is it malfunctioning? Coming the cable leading from the charger that goes to the laptop, is that thing damaged or frayed? Any issue there? And then the connector itself, a lot of times you'll have failure there. And then if it's a Dell or one of these that has a data pin, well, inside you have that little tiny, it's smaller than a needle, that little a pin. Well, that if that's damaged at all or not making a good contact, that does a weird thing. And so, when I'm testing those things, what I like to do is without a connect to the laptop, the first thing I'll do is I think I've talked about this before. It's wonder if I got this charged up. Let's see. It's one of these. This thing's handy in a minute. There it is. This is a. It just happens from Sears, but this is it's part number 82174, AC voltage detector. It's just it's like a little pin size thing. It's got a red light in it, and it senses line voltage. So
Continuity, or
basically, if without actually plugging in anything into a receptacle, holding it next to it, you get a red light and the sound that tells you, well, it's still energized. So, well, this is there it goes. Let's go turn this on. There we go. Is that going to behave? No. Get the light on it.
and so what is that telling you? It's got power going through it?
Or? Yeah, and so it's just a really handy tool for testing for.
Work for continuity too, or?
No, it just senses the presence of electricity. However, this thing will also I want to say that. Yeah, see, so right there, I'm actually holding that to. Oh, shut up! If this isn't, it's actually designed to sense. It says 120, 240 volts AC on it. So you're thinking that's just for your house voltage, your line voltage. I discovered one day that this is here's a charger for my phone. My phone's plugged in.
Right.
And so what's on that, like 5 volts or something at DC? But here it okay, but it still lights up. I'm like, aha, okay, right. Well, that's pretty cool. So that's one of the first tests. I grab this thing out, and if I'm checking if I'm checking one of these chargers, laptop chargers, plug in at the wall. If I go to the very other end of the thing where I'm supposed to be getting what, like 19 something volts,
Hmm.
and this thing lights up, okay, good. I know that everything up until that point is good. Okay, I don't have to test anything at the other end. I know I've got something on the business end of it. So from there, I grab my if I got nothing, well, right there I know that I've got a problem with that charger. So that tells me I've got something, but it doesn't necessarily describe the quality of it. And so that's when I grab the voltmeter, take a reading of the charger, and once again, whatever it's rated for. Anymore, it's all fairly standardized, somewhere like 19 point whatever volts it is. I don't recall right off. That's what I expect to see on my voltmeter. Okay, but that still doesn't. If I see that, that's good. That's another check mark in the box. It still doesn't guarantee that that's a good 19 something volts. So, if you got a car battery, if you got your car, you left the headlights on forever, and you shut the headlights off, okay, wait a few minutes, you're still going to test 12, 13 volts on a voltmeter because it's not putting a load on it. There you go. I got the same one here, I think.
Yeah.
But as soon as you got a load on it, you could turn that key, that engine ain't turning over. So same thing with the charge. It may test out proper voltage, but as soon as it gets a little load put on it to the from the laptop by turning it on, it may go to zero. However, I have found that's not typical. That usually 99 times, at least in my experience, 99 times out of 10, if I got good voltage at the other end of it, typically the charger's okay. Usually, when I'm testing it, if it's showing me proper voltage, it's probably okay. So those are a couple troubleshooting things I go when I'm testing those. But of course, the easiest way is, I mean, who doesn't? If you've been doing this for a while, you probably have stacks of these chargers laying around. You could probably just grab one and test it that way. So
Interesting.
yeah, I like troubleshooting.
I don't. I do. I mean, I don't. I just don't feel confident working on laptops. So, and the few I did, I mean, I had success. The two that I did work with, but I mean, the one I had, the guy literally cracked it open. Literally, he cracked it. Yeah, he ruined it. I mean, everything was torn up in there. I use epoxy. I got it working too, but
Yeah,
epoxy and
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't do the internal adapter, the pigtail tail. It was a it was a HP. Actually, he broke it twice, and I fixed it twice. But
Was this out of anger?
a banker.
No, out of anger.
What did you say?
Anger. Was it broken twice out of anger?
Could have been. He thought he could. Oh, I'll get in there and figure out what's wrong. But he cracked
Oh,
it.
okay. This was all right.
The corner piece. It was all. There was nothing there anymore. So I had to
Yeah.
figure. I had to epoxy what I could and Velcro and it worked. It worked for a go. I mean, he still has it. I think it was like 3 years ago.
Velcro. What'd you like? You mean like the palm rest? Velcro.
No, it was up there. Where the HP had the speaker grill up there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it was all bent and
No.
there was nothing like it. It was cracked. All the pieces were cracked.
Yeah.
And,
So just all the little bits are supposed to snap together. There was just
no, there's no way it was going to snap together.
there's no hope that stuff snapped together. Well, Velcro. Hey, it suits me.
When the power adapter, when the pigtail thing that I replaced, that wouldn't even seat. I had to make it seat in there, and so it was sturdy. But
Oh yeah, I think you talked about that once.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I got it to work. But laptops. I always have a screw or 2 or 3 screws left over. The few I worked on. And so
See, and I always run out.
you run out of screws. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I wouldn't have.
Well, I've said that before.
That's good.
Where you work, is it there? Is it carpet? Because I do have a problem. I have screws that sometimes they get to fly in, and I got to really it's
I've tried them before, but I
what's
have
that?
now. I really don't have room to work on it. I think I did it upstairs on the in the dining room table.
Yeah. I have a couple pretty strong magnets that I do a sweep about once a week. I do a sweep and just pick up any wayward screws that got loose from me, and it's 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 not that many, but I'm always every once in a while I'll pick up. Well, working on my iPhones and that, the screws are just
Yeah, I think my fear is if you break it, you bought it. I mean, me. You know what I mean? That's why I just
yeah.
you know.
I understand that. Yeah, absolutely.
And I know it's happen. It happens with people. I mean, it happens with people, but I mean, it didn't happen with me yet. But like I said, I pretty much don't go inside a laptop anymore. Other than the hard drive and RAM.
So what do you do? I mean, when people need a little bit of work done, you know
I
somebody? What do you?
No, I don't. Like you do it for. I mean, this is your full time job. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I only do stuff for friends. I don't. Do little stuff here and there. Now, my neighbor called me too a couple weeks ago. They're in their 87, 88, and they're
Yeah.
pretty good. Him and his wife for their age, and it was an easy fix. It was I guess Chrome kept on crashing on him, or he was getting error with it. I just uninstalled it, reinstalled it. It was fine, no big deal there, and that was it basically. But yeah, I don't. I like doing it on the side very lightly. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do it for a living. I'd really be bald if I did it for a living like you guys.
I don't believe that for
Number one, you
for a
guys.
minute.
I don't know how it is with you, but Martin, he's a network guy.
Yeah.
And, I wonder. Ask him how many hours he puts in a week. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure he puts in a lot of hours.
I think that it's approaching the number of hours in the week.
Yeah, I know. I got to be at work at 7, and I get out at 3:30 every day. So
Did you get a company car? Did they let you drive that fork truck home?
no, I wouldn't be home yet. It would have died. Yeah. 50 miles. I imagine 7 or 8 miles an hour, maybe.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Well, speaking of that, I'll tell you what. A couple of weeks ago, I had, I don't think I talked about this. I don't think we've done a show. It was, I guess, about 2 weeks ago. It was like the coldest day we've had. So I think you had the same weather there. It was like 14 degrees here. Wake up in the morning, it was 14 degrees. And did I tell you, my car broke down? Did I tell you the story?
No.
That yeah, I live at the I basically live at the top of the hill, and so to get anywhere, it's down a hill, and so the main road, it's state road, is down the hill of the freeway. While I'm driving, and here I tell you what happened was my wife's minivan. They got them lines, them heater lines, antifreeze that run the full length of the car from the radiator all the way back, all the way. The guy, he couldn't have gone any further, furthest corner of the car, all the way in the back to a little heater core for the rear heat, and there's a return line comes all the way up, and the turns out they've had an issue. Of course, this car it's a 2005. It's the one we did the slalom in.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
so but they made a mistake in that they used aluminum. Now these lines. I mean, it's a series of tubes connected to hoses, connected to tubes, connected to hoses, all the way. And they made the mistake of, and I don't understand how in this day and age that we could ignore something that is so plainly obvious to anybody that knows anything about science, but they used aluminum brackets to hold these steel tubes in place. And so over time, there's that whatever you call it, the galvanic effect or something, where a small voltage is set up over dissimilar metals, and things are prematurely corroded, they rust. And so what happens is that the brackets break, and there's stress points, and the tubes rust. Well, and and what happens is that Tim is driving his wife to work, and one of the lines bursts. I had no idea, and I get to my exit, and the car just plain stops running. I mean, it literally ran so hot that it just stopped, and I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't even know what happened, and of course where it bursts is within a couple inches of the exhaust, and so it's actually spraying the hot coal on the exhaust. So there's just clouds, billowing out from underneath the car. And did I mention it's 14 degrees? So I'm racing home because I gotta get 1 kilo on the bus, take the wife to work, get back home, get the other kilo on the bus, and so I'm driving, and this happens, and so I was literally stranded on the side of the freeway, and so I thought, well, what do I do? So I wasn't quite sure who to call at that time, Maureen. I thought I'm going to start walking because if I think whoever I'm going to call, I'll have plenty of time to think about it. And oh my gosh, it was bad. I mean, I walked home. It was 2.5 miles. The first mile and 3/4 was uphill, and it's 14 degrees, and that wind was just howling, so just blowing in my face. The one thing I'll say is that I had plenty of layers. I mean, it just so happened I was dressed very warm anyway, so the gloves and the whole bit. But when I finally got home, I looked like one of those like Arctic explorers with I had the
Well,
icicles like frozen in all around my beard, and so anyway, it was a pretty amazing walk. I've lived here over a decade, and I've never imagined having to walk that, much less those conditions. But I I I actually I made it home in one piece. I borrowed the neighbor's car. I grabbed the kid, threw his clothes on, and drove him to school. And we had 2 minutes to spare, so it was it was like a horrible thing that in the end I felt like it was like this. I felt like it was this huge success. Like I was in the dog sled races where it was this horrible thing, but like I finished the finish line, having won the thing. So anyway, that was awful.
yeah, it's cold weather being out in it. Well, we had snow Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. I don't know if you had anything out there. We got like 3 or 4.
Yeah, we did, but not that much.
Yeah, time I got home, it wasn't too bad on the main streets at all, but it was on my driveway, so and it was like a wet snow. I just wanted to use the snow blower because I had fixed it at the end of last year. One of those, what do you call it, shear bolts broke off, and I put another one.
Yeah.
So I was like anxious to see how good it's going to work. Of course, didn't work at all because the snow was too wet. It just kept on clogging up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I went up shoveling most of it, but it was just because it was too wet, too warm. But I'm sure we're going to get plenty of chances before the winter's out.
I suppose so.
Unfortunately. I mean, hopefully we won't get anything like Buffalo, New York, but 6 and 7 feet of snow, whatever they got.
They can have that.
Did you see some of the pictures they had?
No, I haven't.
Buffalo Stadium. I forgot what it's called. Their stadium. It was like a few feet away from the goalpost. The goalpost.
Oh, no, I completely missed that.
Unbelievable amount of snow is what they got up there.
Mm.
Roofs were caving in people's homes.
Wow. No, I completely missed all that.
And what else am I going to talk about? As I mentioned earlier on Voxer, I've been playing guitar on and off for like 40 some years. Just doodling with it, and I've had a few lessons here and there, but I was never able to master it. Not the way I would like to, not the way I see these people on YouTube play. But anyway, so I've just been hammering at that a lot lately, and I think I'm gonna treat myself with a real nice guitar.
With a what?
Real nice guitar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, electric guitar. See, I got one now, but it's a kind of a cheap. It was only about $400. But I'm gonna get a nice one. Maybe February.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which way you leaning there, Mitch Meister?
What do you mean? Which way?
Well, when you say a really nice guitar.
Like a. Mm, well, I'm saying a Fender Stratocaster, but I like Ibanez's too. That's
Yeah.
what. Yeah, yeah. You save a lot of money getting an Ibanez. Um, if you know anything about them, I don't know anything about them, but I have one. Um, so
Did you say Stratocaster or Telecaster?
Stratocaster.
Stratocaster, yeah.
Yeah, I've had them. I've had them before years. I mean, in the '70s, used ones. I get used ones. I think I had a Telecaster one time, many years ago.
Yeah.
But now the avenue to learn how to play. I mean, if you look on YouTube,
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
kids. Now you got girls. Girls are shredding on guitar.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable. And that's I've been learning. I'm in the last 3 weeks. I've learned more than I've learned in the last 40-some years. And I've taken I've took maybe I've taken maybe 20, 30 lessons in my life. That's about
Mm-hmm.
it. Not many, but I'm learning more on YouTube, and unbelievable. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to learn how to shred I like rock, classic rock, but just learning so much, and I want to get back into it. So I'm able to, and I probably shouldn't say it on here. I should talk to my wife first. But anyway, 59 and a half, you can take your 401k out and not get penalized. Just pay your normal taxes on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to take it out and reinvest it elsewhere. And
oh, you got a good 15 years of that, right?
15 years of what?
I mean, what you got a good 15, 20 years before 59 and a half, don't you?
Let's say, how about 2 months?
Get out of here.
3 months? Yeah, 3 months. That'll be 59 and a half. And anyway, but if I took a few grand out, it's not going to hurt my savings, I don't think. So I can pay cash on whatever I want to get. Whatever.
Well, good for you, man. That's nice. And you know what? You're absolutely right. There's, I, I, I am not a guitarist. I mean, I can pick up a guitar. I know where my fingers go. I know the power chords, but there's, the extent of my guitar playing was like in high school in a band, like.
They watch you probably.
I mean, that was really it, and so like I can make a lot of loud noise that kind of didn't sound quite so much like noise, but every few months, every couple of years, I pick the thing up, and it just kind of gauge how the experience has changed, and for the averages, it's amazing. You're absolutely right that not only and actually I think that's what kind of rekindled the fire here the last couple times around is that I'm looking on YouTube and I'm like, wow, look at that. It's like I'll hear something like a riff or something. I'm like, oh, but I can see it. I'm like, wow, okay, is that how you did that? So I'll try it, and of course it's like, oh, I can't do that. But yeah, it's pretty fantastic, like you said with the YouTube. But you know what too is I don't have any. Well, I'll tell you what. The other one was there are guitar. For tuning the strings, there's little apps that you can download the phone.
All over.
Right?
Yep.
Right, and I remember the first time I discovered one of those, I thought, how fantastic is this? And so I thought, well, I got to try it. And so I did it. I thought, this is really, really cool. It's where technology makes things so accessible. And because I remember, when I was in high school, this is like decades ago. I bought a guitar tuner. You plugged it in. To electric guitar. It took a big 9-volt battery, and it had all these like crazy lights that would light up, and you tuned it, and I suppose it worked fine, but I remember it being very expensive, and so that things like that are available, free download right to your phone, and it was. I think that's just. I love how technology does that. That over time things become accessible, they become free, and things that you wouldn't even imagine. But I'll tell you what, something something too that I really got excited about that, briefly, and then I left it, but was that software that you install to to the computer, and then you can download the songs that you want to learn, and then it plays. It has the tabs that just kind of
Guitar,
scroll.
G,
Go
guitar,
ahead.
guitar player
I Is that one of them?
or Guitar Player Pro, something like it. Yeah.
It's been a couple of years, but yeah, it was something like that where I thought, how fantastic is this? And you can actually, you can decide which, which tracks are playing, be it the background, the rhythm, or the lead, and so like I said, the vocals, and so once again, that's something that where you know when I was coming up, it's like I remember my buddy got a 4-track, and that was like the coolest thing in the world. Um, it, to now where this sort of thing is available. Once again, it's all about accessibility and how inexpensive and how just how techy things are, how inexpensive things are, and the freedom that it gives you to learn things so much more quickly, so much more easily, and to just be more creative. And so it really is a very exciting time to be alive. Uh, in respect to, where I remember coming, and I'm sure that kids today, when they get 2-3 decades out, they'll be looking back and saying, wow, the technology they have in the future. How great things are. So, yeah, well, good for you, man. I'm excited. You'll have to don't forget us, when you're
Yeah, I'm
famous
not
there, bud.
embarrassing myself. I just play for myself. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I always wanted to know Steve C. I guess he plays all kinds of musical instruments, and I know he played guitar, but I've never heard him. Oh yeah, oh I did hear him one of his things, but he was just doing some rhythm stuff. But he was a guitar teacher at one time, and I always wanted to hear him play some stuff. But now
Yeah.
I know he's into that electronic dance music, and
Hmm.
which I'm not. I mean, some of it sounds good, but
Yeah, he kind of went to the dark side, didn't he?
I'm not saying that. Well,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
you
That's
know
his
he
gig,
opened
man.
up a
It's cool.
he opened up a computer repair business in Clearwater, Florida. Doing that now?
No,
He did, yeah.
really.
Must have failed about several months back. Yeah, he's doing that. And got back into that. He went like full circle.
I kind of, I hide down here in my little hidey hole. I don't know what's going on in the real world.
You didn't know they had all that snow up in Buffalo.
No, I look. I mean, I stare at white cinder block walls. I don't know
It
what's
was
up.
it was horrible. They it's a lot of snow when they canceled a football game, NFL game there. They couldn't do it. They played it in Detroit because they weren't there. The Jets and Buffalo played in Detroit.
Yeah, see, and I probably would know that if I was really tuned into football this year. I have I've been unusually like out of tune with the football season. So
it's a crazy year, but I mean, with the Steelers and the Ravens, I mean, they're so up and down all year long, both of them. I mean, both teams. It's crazy. Weird season.
it's I think it has my issue is really local. It's just where the schedules have had me out of the house on the weekends a lot, and something about my television has been completely taken over by the children, and so more often than not, I find myself just doing something else instead of catching the games. So I where I used to like DVR, I used to DVR like the 3 games or the 4 games on Sunday or whatever, and I'd watch them all. And now it's like I'll listen to Steelers on the radio, and that's that's about as far as I get. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. What else did we have cooking here?
Let me see. We got Windows 10. I don't know if you mess with it. The beta.
No,
I
no,
had to
no.
up
I,
it.
I, I really haven't. How about yourself?
I did on this Core 2 quad, but it was just too buggy. Really.
Really?
Took it off and put Windows 8 on there, and that's fine. But Windows 10 was just too buggy. Which it's you have to expect it. First rate type of deal.
Yeah. I am yeah. I'll see.
That's right. I forgot you.
Windows.
I guess I assume you don't have any Windows 8 on any of your personal.
No, I don't. And I was just about to say something. You know what? I did handle a laptop over Thanksgiving that had Windows 8 on it.
8 or 8.1? Do you
8.1.
okay? Which is it's a lot better than 8.
And I'll tell you what, it had a touch screen. And I still thought the whole thing was completely stupid. However, I the navigation made a lot more sense to me. So sticking my hands in the screen and swiping around and doing this and that, I could kind of like get a better sense of what the intention was, and that's what I've pretty much been saying all along is that if I was holding a tablet or a phone, handheld device, I would feel that it would kind of make sense to me. I still I, 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 I still have issues with that, whatever. But I've it was good to actually get that thing and actually play a little bit. However, having said that, I was very happy to hand it back to the person and say, "There you go, it's fixed." Whatever the issue was. So, uh,
Some of the bad issues I had on some of those recent PCs where I had to do a clean install, they had um, Windows 8. Actually, on the previous one, they had Windows 8, and it was upgraded to Windows 8.1. And I had to do a clean install. I did it from the recovery partition,
you got
and
jammed.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. We did talk about it. Yeah, where I mean, 3 different times I tried it.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple times I got to the point where it's all right. You're ready for Windows 8.1, but it wouldn't work. It just
It would roll back.
I did everything would not work. And then I did it a third time. The first 2 times I was using wireless, so I did a hardwire Ethernet, and that's when he had a rollback where 4 hours later it's still saying reverting back, and I said forget that. And then I had a retail copy. I just gave it to sold it real cheap, brand new copy with 8.1 on it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that went fine. But it was just, but if you read there, a lot of people do have issues upgrading to Windows from 8 to 8.1. I've had it a couple times where it worked. I didn't have any problems, but there is a lot of problems. One time I had a HP laptop. I couldn't even recover from the partition; would not work at all, and so I had to use another disk. When I had another I had a retail disk, but it matched up. It's not like we're you know how you use an OEM disk, you use it on a different machine if it's the same.
Sure.
This was the same thing. It was the basic whatever it was that I bought, and it matched up and it authenticated, and so that worked out. But I couldn't even recover. The recovery partition kept on giving me an error. And
Yeah. I I do have a Windows 8 laptop here with a it's a bad screen, so I'd always kind of imagine setting it up just at a desktop here at the house with a an LCD screen, just making it like a desktop computer. Um, and I've been meaning to get that thing out for a couple months and doing a reinstall from the factory partition, just wipe and reinstall, just to see.
it's your own PC.
Yeah, it's a laptop here that it's had a long kind of sad history, um, but I've been wanting to get that out and do that just to see if I was going to have the same issues with the upgrading and all that sort of thing.
Right.
So yeah. Well, anyway.
I mean, I like on that HP that I reinstalled from scratch, and he probably didn't have 8.1 on it to begin with. I mean, it came with 8.
Sure.
I did all the 80 billion updates, and then everything worked. Everything went real good on that one. Just takes forever though. I mean, it's not the downloading. It's just it takes forever installing that stuff. It drives me nuts.
Well, I have I'm very hopeful. I honestly believe that they're going to have it all worked out. I believe Windows 9 is going to be the best Windows ever.
How about yeah, okay. Uh,
I believe no OS will ever be as great as Windows 9.
no such thing. I don't know why they did that.
That's
It
so
went
stupid.
it went
It's
to
so
10. I don't
stupid.
know.
It's idiot.
I did hear a reasoning. I forgot what it was, but it did.
I know. I've heard like several reasons. It was all just a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So
Unless they think,
Windows 9, I'm
unless they think
I've
Windows
got
8.1 is 9.
yeah,
You know,
I've got that window I got that big Windows I got that Windows 9 tattoo. I'm pretty proud of,
oh,
and yeah, I'm excited about that.
I was wondering, you, do you have any tattoos, by the way?
What's that?
Do you have any?
I got a couple.
I didn't, because not that I wouldn't have. I mean, when I met you last year, then I just had the one on my dog.
Yeah, I got a couple. Yeah, it's one of them things. I think kind of like kids. I'd probably get a couple more if I had any more money and time.
Yeah, yeah. I forget where I was. I was somewhere over the weekend. I don't know if it was Walmart, wherever I was, Staples. A guy walked in there. He had and his whole head was full of tattoos.
Wow.
I'm not into that stuff. It's okay if you want to, but I mean, usually I'll see it on those tattoo shows. I don't really see too many people.
Yeah.
I mean, his whole head.
Yeah.
Uh,
That is a real dilemma because some folks, I mean, when they're really like really just tattooed out, I mean, like complete sleeves and the whole thing, anybody with that much work, I mean, they spent hundreds and hundreds of hours on the needle, they have all that art. It begs to be like examined, but the last thing you want to do is stare at some of these people like very long. It's like, hey, look at me, but don't stare
yeah,
at me because
I won't stay. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like, well, don't do that to yourself, or wear sleeves or something. Because, I mean, look, it's like putting up a huge billboard. Don't look at me. I mean, come on, make up your mind, dude. Um, hey, Mitch, what else you got cooking, man? You got anything on your Christmas wish list, buddy? I mean, we kind of hit on a little bit, but I wondered if you had anything that you were really hoping Santa Claus was going to bring you.
no, just that if I decide to get that guitar,
Yeah.
no, I mean, no, there's nothing I need. Um, I got, I did get my. She's not going to know this.
Uh-oh.
I did get my wife a laptop.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Windows 9.
It was an Acer. It's a quad core. It's Intel quad core, but it's not one of the i3 series. But they got good reviews on them. And she's coming from a single core AMD with Vista on it.
Oh my gosh.
You'll see a big difference.
Yeah, I should hope so. But it's okay. So Windows 8.1, right? You got the touchscreen or what? Yeah.
Yeah, no touchscreen.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice.
And it was a good deal. Look, I mean, there's a couple of different ones I was looking at. I got it a few weeks ago, and the Acer looked about the nicest out of the ones I was looking at. And she's only going to use this to pay bills online, but she's telling me I don't need a new one, but then she'll say my computer's really slow.
Yeah.
Computer. I mean, it's always.
Well, that's good. That'll be. You know what? She'll love it. That'll be a nice thing to. That'll be a nice thing for her to open up. She'll like it.
Oh yeah. But the thing is, I got her that Nexus 7 2 years ago, Christmas, and she never touches her laptop except for to pay bills.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Because you said that she used that tab a lot, but you're saying to pay bills, she likes to use a laptop then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. But no, I'm just hoping everybody stays healthy. More than anything. We got a question in there. Does anyone know? Can I watch the show on a Roku? Yeah, is the Geeksters on Roku? No.
That was something they were. I think the whole Podnuts thing was kind of working toward that a couple years ago, but I don't remember that going anywhere or anything.
This reason I started using my Roku again, and that Podnuts app is on there, but it doesn't do anything.
Okay, all right.
I guess you can get YouTube on there now. I would imagine you should.
Yeah, all of our when we do this live, it all ends up on YouTube. So
yeah, I don't know if the live you can do it, but it'll like if you go to Martin Obando's page, Martin Obando, you'll see all his previous shows. Now he's not here tonight, and so I'm just doing it on my account right today. But if you go on Mitchman5155, it's there. This will be there.
or even well, just the of course the audio is available for download at a later date, as a pod, the MP3 at Podnuts. But I mean, going to YouTube, I know there's episode I've wanted to watch. I mean, if I just search Geeksters, and then the episode number 115 or whatever, usually a search at YouTube will kick up all of our previous live broadcasts.
Hmm. Yeah, that's all I got today. Not a
That's
whole lot.
any emails, any voicemails,
Um,
anything outstanding?
I think we did get something recently. And I forgot what it was. I don't know if I saved it because well, I assume he forwards them to you. We get them from Dory. He sends it to.
Yeah, that's why I just
There was something recently, but I don't know if it was brought up last week or not in our really quick show last week.
yeah.
Real quick show.
137.
137. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, real cool. Well, if there is anything hanging out, we'll catch it next week on episode 139. And folks, we appreciate you bearing with us. We're techs. This is what we do. You're getting a look inside our real lives, whether it's what we're fixing, what we're working on, what we're dealing with, customers who are treating us well or not treating us well, and whether we can even make the show or not. And so I know there's many shows I've missed because my kids are busy with stuff. There's shows that Martin has been very, very disappointed he can't make, but the guy has gotten really busy because I'll tell you a secret. He's really good at what he does. So we're really glad to have him when he can be here. We're working on the schedule. Hopefully we can iron out some of this. But we really appreciate all of you who spend your time listening, watching, contributing. We value your time especially. And so we thank you so much for making us a part of that. So we would love to have your voicemails, emails. Mitch, where do they send that?
You can send us emails at geeksters@podus.com, and we haven't had a voicemail in a while, which you can send us or call at 707-6-PODNUT. That's 707-676-3688.
Okay. Where can they get a hold of you, buddy?
There, or Google Plus. Just do a search for Mitch Heyman.
Okay, great. And I'm Tim Bauermeister. You can find me on Google Plus. I'm Tim Bauermeister on G Plus. You need anything? Questions, comments, concerns, insults? Hey, I'll take it all, baby. That's where you can find me. Martin, we'll see you next week, buddy. And folks, as always, stay gruntled and have a very great fiscal week.
Bye.